Okay, next, what I'm going to do is to say I'm going to connect to an external network. Say I have just drawn this line because I want to show you that this is not part of my network, but CSR is part of my network. Now, what I'm going to do is to create another fabric. And this fabric is going to contain, let's say, this CSR device in it. So let me just go with a better color so you can see better. So this CSR device is going to be inside this new fabric. And I'm just going to call this fabric external. So let's say that this is called fabric external, but this is going to be part of my network. So I'm just going to manage this. And also I'm just going to have this fabric, which is going to be my the actual fabric, which is the internal fabric, right? So the tenants are going to be connected to my fabric in here. So why am I separating this fabric external from my internal fabric? As a matter of fact, this is going to be kind of an L3 out. So because that's going to act as an L3 out, I'm just going to separate this from my own fabric. But this is, as a matter of fact, I am using this, I'm creating this. This is not a tenant L3 out, this is my L3 out. Because I'm just going to make sure that the connection between my fabric and other fabrics are going to be kind of controlled and kind of kind of incubated into in this L3 out fabric. Now this part could be another, let's say, part of my enterprise, another department of my enterprise, or it could be some other fabric, whatever, or some other organization. Doesn't matter. Let's say that this is a service provider, and I am connected to this, and then this is going to connect me to different other organizations, or maybe they are going to be my other branch of the data center, so I'm connected to them. So I'm just going to do this. So this is going to be a BGP network, which is BGP 1000, whatever it is, service provider say. I'm going to use 2000 here. If you remember, we have used 65001 in our fabric. What I'm going to do is to create a BGP connection here. This interface is going to be part of VRF, and let's say that my VRF, which I am going to extend, is going to be cost 1. So part of VRF cost 1, which I am extending. And also I can say, yeah, this is part of the, let's say, a tenant network. So this could be like that, right? So this could be a part of another tenant's network, which is connected to other organizations. So I can say if this is part of cost 1 and I am extending VRF here, then this means that switch 2 should be able to reach to here, and they should be able to reach to switch 2, also switch 5, and also switch 3, same thing. Now, one of the reasons that I decided that L13 is going to be border router is going to be this, because they are connected to some external network. And one of the reasons that I didn't really want to advertise the VSIs here, interface VLANs on here, is because we don't need to do this on border router. But of course, during the wrap-up, you saw that I just advertised them into L3, and I'm just going to make sure that because that is part of the tenant network. And now, because this is part of my tenant network, I'm just going to make sure that they can connect to each other. So that is the reason that I decided to do such thing here. Okay, let's start the configuration. I'm just going to first of all configure CSR's connection with the external network. External network connection, I guess I have done some configuration on that. So if I just go to enable, so show run section router BGP. So this is the configuration, and I have set that this one is going to be the CSR device in AS2000. Let's go to CSR configuration, enconf T, and I have not done anything on here. The first thing, host name is going to be CSR. The first thing that I'm going to do is to configure interfaces. Interface G2, and I'm going to have an IP address of this with 255.255.255.0, and do show IP interface brief. You can see there is this management interface configured with DHCP. I just want to turn this into something else. So I'm just going to say interface G4. IP address is going to be 192.168.100. Let's say this is going to be 231. Okay, so this is configured as well. And also I'm just going to, I can just configure this with a route 40000, but I'm not going to do that. The only important thing is I should be able to reach to this management switch. Of course, sometimes that management switch doesn't answer because of some, I don't know, problems, but you can see that right now this is working. So that's going to be my management interface. Actually, I'm just going to use it. So I'm going to say username NDFC, password privilege is going to be 15, and password is going to be Cisco 123. For this, it says that you should go with secret or something like that. And then I'm going to say interface VTY 0 to 4, and do show run section line. Oh, line VTY. I just forgot to say line VTY. I said interface VTY. Sorry. Okay, so line VTY 0 to 4. I'm going to say login local, and also SSH is the transport. That's okay. So I'm going to say do WR, and also do WR. Okay, so let's just go for configuration of BGP. Before that, loopback 0 is going to have an IP address of, let's say, I don't know. I'm going to say something like, what should I say? 10.255.255.254, something like this. 255.255.255.255. I just want to have some loopback 0 interface in here. Okay, going to router BGP configuration. That was 2000. And then I'm just going to say neighbor is going to be 172.16.02. And that's going to be in remote AS 1000. And that's all. Address family IPv4 unicast. This is going to be activated. Activates. But of course, this is already a neighbor. Okay, so the other interface, G1, I'm not going to configure this because we are going to see that things are going to be a little different when we connect this to the Nexus switches. But for now, if I say show BGP IPv4 unicast, I have these prefixes in here, and we are going to advertise it into internal network. Okay, on L13, I'm just going to configure this. First of all, in my fabric, I'm going to, in my Nexus dashboard, I'm going to configure this external fabric. Let's do this. I'm just going to go to here, and let's just close this. Okay, so I have one fabric, and this is DC1 pod 1. I'm just going to create another one. So let's go for this. And I'm going to call this DC1 pod 1 external. So let's wait for this. And type DC1 pod 1 external. Okay, so the type of fabric which I'm going to select is external connectivity network. So you go all the way down. So select it. And then you can change the fabric right here, but I'm just going to go with that. So general parameters. What is the BGP AS number? That is 2000. We just selected, right? And fabric monitor mode, because I don't really want to do anything like management on the interfaces or features of the switch. That is called switch, but as a matter of fact, that's a router, you know that. And also I can have performance monitoring, but I'm not using an NXOS or something like that. It says iOS XE, of course, is accepted. So in advanced part, you can say some of the stuff like, I don't know, traps and MX APIs, if this is a Nexus switch and stuff like that. For resources, we have some .1Q range, which is from 2 to 511. And basically, this is going to start from the very, very low end. So that's going to start from 2, I believe, but you can just change it to something that you want. List, for example, from 400 to 511, something like that. For configuration backup, if you want to. And also bootstrap, I'm not using any kind of bootstrap. I just want to configure this the way it is. So here we are with login again, because we are timed out. See if the fabric is created. No, it isn't. I have to create it again, but this time this is just going to be the name as a matter of fact, XT. Choose fabric type, and that's it, and then select, and nothing to change as a matter of fact, other than BGP number, which is 2000. So I click on save. Okay, my fabric is being created, and after that, I'm going to add the switches, which means the devices actually. So let's go to here, and then go to switches. Okay, to add the switch, I'm going to click on action, click on add switches. Every type of device I mean. Doesn't really mean that this is going to be switch. And I'm going to paste the IP address, that is the IP address of the switch, or the device actually. MD5 is okay, and then NXOS, it is iOS XE. And you can see that for iOS XE, there are different types. We are using CSR. And then username is NDFC, password is Cisco123, just to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to say discover switches. Okay, this is a switch and manageable. In case you see that there is a problem in here, just reload the switch, reload the CSR device actually. Click on add switch. And we are not going to manage the CSR device actually, so adding this is not going to take so long. This is just going to introduce us to the network, to the fabric, nothing more than that. So this means that we are not pushing any configuration. There is not going to be a reload. And if you just go to here, you can see there are some logins to the device using this NDFC username that we just created on that. Okay, so switch is added. I can go to here, and this is the switch in here. Now, what is important for us is, that's it. We don't have anything to do in this fabric anymore. Let's go back to our fabric. And then here, I'm going to, first of all, do something. If I go to links, I can go to links, or I can go to the switch L313 and then go to the links. Doesn't matter. I can just select the links right here. You can see that these are the connections between different devices in my network, okay? But the CSR is not here because that is not manageable by us. So we need to introduce this link. Now, based on the topology that I have here, E111 is connected to G1 on CSR. Now, I'm not going to configure any IP address for CSR for now for G1. Like I said, that's going to be something a little bit different. We are going to see what interface is going to be created. And hopefully, this is, actually, most likely that's going to be a sub-interface which is going to use VLAN 2. And I'm going to show, I showed you why. So let's go back to the configuration here. I'm just going to say, also protocol view is not going to have anything for now for that. I'm going to go to action, go to create a link. So the link is interfabric between two different fabrics, okay? And I am extending VRF into here. So VRF Lite is going to be selected. There are different types of here, but VRF Lite is what I am going to have. And you can see that the template is external fabric setup. And also I can have OSPF in that. I don't want to have OSPF. We can, but I don't really want to have OSPF for now. So I'm just going to go with the default link template. Now, what is the source fabric? That's going to be DC pod 1. This one is going to be external. What is the source device? I'm connecting using L13. What is the destination device? Only one, which is CSR. What is the source interface? That is 111. On the other side, it was G1. Okay, so one more time, just to make sure. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to add some information. Okay, so what is the source BGP? That's 65001. We already know that. What is the, let's say, source IP address? That's going to be something like, I don't know, what IP address should I add to this link? Let's say that I'm just going to go with 172.16.1 network. And for source, I'm just going to select one for myself, /24. For destination, that's going to be 172.16.1.2. Okay. And do you want to have IPv6 address? You can enter here. ASN is 2000, and link MTU, I'm just going to go with 1500. And that's it. It says auto-generate configuration for peer. This is not manageable. So if you just put a check next to this is going to give you an error. Okay, for others, if I go to advanced, for example, you can have some description for the interfaces, some extra configuration if you want to have. And then for default VRF, you can select auto-generate configuration and default VRF. I don't want to. I am using customer VRF and I'm extending that. And for security, you can go with MaxSec or stuff like that. This is going to be enough. So click on save. And when you click on save, something is going to happen for you. You're going to deploy some configuration into your device. So here, I have created this one. For now, I have not added any kind of a configuration to the switch. And if you go to protocol view, for now, no protocol view has been created. Let's just do something before deploying this configuration. What I'm going to do is to go to my CSR device, and then I'm going to configure BGP with the other side. So for now, I have not configured any interface for that, okay? Interface G1 is not going to be configured, only BGP section. So I'm going to go to router BGP 2000. I'm going to say my neighbor is going to be 172.16.1.1. That's it. And that's going to be remote AS 65001. And under address family IPv4 unicast, I'm just going to activate it. So if I say do show run section router BGP, here is our configuration. I can say BGP no BGP default IPv4. Because I have activate, no problem is going to happen in here. So my IP addresses has been 172.16.0.1 in here. And let's change this. Let's do something. I'm going to say 16.0. This is me, as a matter of fact, am I? 0.1. Okay, so I have selected 1 for CSR, and then I am selecting 2 for CSR. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What is important is just the import. I can just change the link configuration. So you can click on here, go to edit, and say my address is going to be 2. Your address is going to be 1. Yeah, I can do that. And now here I'm just going to, it says that the allocation has failed. Okay, no problem. Cancel this out. The IP address assignment is okay. No problem with that. Okay, so I have done the configuration. Now I'm going to recalculate and deploy. So what is going to happen is this configuration is going to be injected into the switch L13, and then I'm going to check it to see what interface has received this. Although I have set A111, but a sub interface is going to be created for us, and that is going to be important. And I can just check it right here, or check it in the configuration. So here is L13. I can check it. And it says that no, this has not injected the configuration. Let's see what we have. I'm going to go back to see the configuration one more time, but let's wait for this. If I just go to here and on L13, I'm going to say show IP interface brief for VRF all. You can see that this interface has not been created. One of the reasons is I have not extended the VRF. I need to extend the VRF, and then I'm just going to use this. So you can see that we have VRFs in here. VRF customer 1, I can click on that and open VRF. And then I have networks in here. And I believe that if I select this and go to edit, not in here, on VRF attachment, select this and not on this, only L13. Go to edit. There is an extension for the VRF, which I am going to select it. Then you can select the loopback ID for the L13. I'm not going to use anything, just itself is going to be okay. And then it's going to extend it over Gigabit Ethernet 1 for the CSR, which is connected to our E111, which is okay, exactly the same as what I wanted. So I'm just going to say attach all. And it says now attached, and then I can click on save, and then now deploy it. So I can select this, click on deploy. Okay, after deploying, I can see the configuration. If I click on here, you can see that an interface is created, 111.2. You remember that? It's used to it used VLAN 2 to 511. That is going to be selected. So I'm going to use the same thing on the other side. Subinterface with .1Q2. So while this is being deployed, I can go to CSR. Then I'm going to say interface G1.2. Okay. Now .1Q encapsulation .1Q2, and IP address is going to be 192.16.1.2 if I remember correctly. Yes. So if I say show IP interfaces brief, okay, here we are with the interface. Now the deployment has been done, and after some time I should see the BGP coming up. So this is the BGP configuration here. Great. So I'm just going to save the configuration. Now what I'm going to do is to go to right here. Let's say show BGP IPv4 unicast. So now you can see that the networks are here. So we should have some reachability to these networks from CSR network as well. And also these should be present on other switches. So based on topology, I should see them on L11, for example. If I just go to L11 and log in. So if I say show BGP L2 VPN EVPN, because now inside the fabric we have everything injected into EVPN. So you can see that these network 100s are here, and we have received them through this L3 VNI 2001 because we just extended cust1 into here, right? So this means that if I try to go to, let's say, switch 2 or switch 5, which is connected here, and try to ping 100, I believe that this is going to be kind of a problem because the return path is not advertised here. If I just go to CSR one more time, I don't have a route back into I do, as a matter of fact, but this network doesn't have. So I should say, for example, for some networks, I need to have a route back to here. So for that, I'm going to do something. Although this is not a good idea, as a matter of fact. But I'm just going to say, let's say en configure terminal. Just to show you that there is going to be reachability. IP route for 10.0.0.0.255.0.0.0. I should go to 172.16.0.1. I should send everything back to here. Now let's see if the ping is going to work. Seems not, right? Let's see if it gets to this external network. So if I say trace 100, 100, 100, 100, and trace it, and let's just stop this. Configure terminal, no IP domain lookup, and then save it. So trace it one more time. Okay, it doesn't really show anything in here. So let's say that I'm just going to stop this. Let's do this from a CSR side. I have not advertised anything into my network. So let's say that I'm just going to go to configuration. I'm going to go to router BGP 2000. I'm going to say, let me see, do show IP interface brief. I'm just going to advertise this one, loopback 0. So I address family IPv4 unicast. Network is going to be this. Mask is going to be this. Okay, and also I believe that I did not do something on switch 5. Do I have any default route? No, I don't. So that's the problem. So I'm going to say IP route for 00000000. It should go to 10, 10, 10, 254. And also 10, 10, 20, 254. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Let's see if this is going to work. Now this is working. Okay, so that was the problem. I just forgot to add the IP route, which means that now the back route on external network has been configured, which means that now we have reachability from external network into our network. Okay, everything seems to be good and working just fine. And now that I have advertised this, I should really see this on L11. So if I just say show BGP VPN, you can see this network is in here, which means that now reachability to my internal fabric, my external fabric, the intermediary fabric, which is CSR, and also external networks are provided. So everything works just fine. So one more time, something which is important to clarify is going to be this one. On L13, I have these VLAN interfaces. Normally you shouldn't, because you are not extending your VLANs also. But if you want to, what you needed to do is to configure the networks in a way that they advertise this. So if I just go back to, for example, let's just go to networks in here on DC1 pod 1. So if I select, for example, this one and go to configuration, not here, sorry, edit. If I select this one and click on edit, you can see that I have decided in advanced tab that I am advertising them on the border gateways. And that is going to be my, let's say, border leaf, actually. And this is why we see these networks in there. And if you want to have kind of a reachability, you have to either advertise them or you can send the default route out. And I have not configured any default route. As a matter of fact, I'm just advertising the networks. And this is how you can just provide the connectivity.